Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Money League. Joining us today is Dr. Alfred Adanda and RL Mills. And we have a special guest today, guys. We have the founder of 3CB Performance, Dr. Rajpal Brar, who will be joining us soon. And we'll be chit-chatting about injuries, props for the weekend. And, of course, we'll be talking about all the Derby weekend matchups happened and injury updates as well. Mills, we heard you have some life updates. Let's start from there. How are you doing?
I said I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, so excited. Said I'm so excited. You guys may know me as a traveling nurse, but actually, I got a 3 year. I got a 3 year
Let's
deal with
go.
three
Let's
year deal with the
go.
hospital. I've been working with them for about on and off for about 2 years since
Nice.
every time I come back here. But yeah, gonna be in Virginia Beach for a while. So yeah.
Nice. Okay, well, I have a place to stay in Virginia Beach. So Dr. Atanda, how are you doing? How's your week been? Looks like you're still in your scrubs. And are you drinking a Bud Light, Bush Light? What is that? I did see a can come out earlier. A free
Pabst
advertisement.
Blue Ribbon, baby. I'm,
Oh,
I'm, I'm
here
keeping
Pabst
we
it
Blue
are.
classy.
Let's
Keeping it
Ribbon.
go.
classy.
Let's go.
He's
Okay,
a
how are
man
you
of
doing?
class. A man of
No,
class.
week's been good. I'm out here in South Jersey, fresh off of work. Had a quick bite to eat. Ran up here. I know I was a couple minutes late. Sorry, but I'm ready to rock and roll.
Oh yeah.
Awesome. Let's get started with some Derby weekend. Uh, so I have to start with the Manchester Derby. Of course, I did not expect my team to win, but Man United won the freaking game, people. It was so
Oh,
cool. Oh my god. I was
oh.
like, oh, it was like an early morning game out here, and I was just like yelling and like, oh, it was the best game so far. And of course, United beat City, and like 3 days later, we drop points against Crystal Palace.
Ah,
Only Manchester United can do this, and no other team in the entire world can do this.
It's
What the
called
insane
hell?
week.
karma. It's called karma when you beat
For
the
what?
mighty man. No one beats the mighty Man City. No
Okay,
one.
we'll see about that. So, Doctor Atanda, like, were you able to catch the game? Were you able? What are your thoughts on the Manchester Derby?
Yeah, I mean, I saw bits and pieces. I mean, Man United has played an extra game. City is a game in hand, but they're now third. Man United. And I think they did gain ground on them. However, today at Selhurst Park, late in injury time, that's not the best look for a Man
I
United
know.
fan. What happened today? That was
I
a great free kick,
know.
though. It was a great free
Yeah,
kick.
it
4 minutes in
was a
Amazing free
great.
stoppage
kick.
time. You
Mhm.
can't take anything away from the folks at Selhurst Park and what Crystal
Yeah,
Palace was
it
able to
was.
do. But
Yeah,
it would have been nice to kind of clean up those
matter.
points.
We're supposed to win those games. What are we
You
doing
got to
here?
win the games you're supposed to. You got to win the games you're
Huh?
supposed to win. And no
Yep.
disrespect to Crystal Palace, but you would
Well,
expect Man U to pull that off. I mean, they still got 1 point. I mean, it's something, but to beat Man
yeah.
City and then to lose to tie Crystal Palace
Well,
is
yeah.
basically a loss.
Yep.
Mm.
Exactly. And
Well, Crystal
Mills.
Crystal Palace Crystal Palace's back line was finally full at full health because Chris Richards was still the American Chris Richards has been battling injuries. That's why we haven't called him up to any of the camps. He was back in there. He is the linchpin in that back line at center back. So that
Mhm.
could have helped. That could have been things too.
Right.
So Dr. Atanda, you did have a good weekend. Chelsea kind of finally getting some good news with all the injuries. Thoughts on your awesome Chelsea?
Yeah, I mean they're back and forth. They're spending a ton of money. They're not really getting their return or value on investment, I guess. An enormous game coming up on Saturday against Liverpool. I
Yep.
mean they're right neck and neck in the table. Liverpool's one position above them. They're 9 and 10 respectively. Liverpool's a great team. Chelsea's been decimated with injuries, and Graham Potter's still in the hot seat. A lot of questions being asked in that camp. I can't imagine Chelsea's able to pull one out against Liverpool, but
Huh?
we'll see how it goes.
You never know. You never know. Soccer's a funny sport. Crystal Palace getting a draw against United. There you go. That's your answer. Talking about Liverpool, Liverpool got, oh my God, they had a
Crushed.
terrible performance. They got decimated by
Oh,
Brighton.
it
I
was
don't know.
ugly.
That's not a Jurgen Klopp team we expect to see on the field. I think he always brings the juice. He's like one of those high energy managers, and
Of
I
course.
love him. He's one of the best managers out there, no questions. Mills, thoughts on that game? I know I couldn't watch that game, but I did watch some highlights. Thoughts on that game, Mills?
Liverpool, I don't know if they were tired. They just looked flat. I mean, there was no like pretty much no off-ball movement. You can tell that they came in, they were energized. I mean, obviously you're going up against one of the big dogs, so they're going to come in expired. They said, look, we playing with house money, so they came in. They were ultra aggressive. They pressed perfectly. They picked the right times to press. They picked the right time to sit back. But they could have done whatever they wanted because Liverpool's attack was non-existent. And for some reason, I mean, I'm telling you, they are really, missing Virgil van Dijk in the middle of that
Of
back line.
course, he's dealing with the hamstring injury, so hopefully he'll
Hamstring,
make a
yeah.
quick return.
Hamstring.
Well, before we talk about the Arsenal win against Tottenham, let's welcome to the show the founder of 3CB Performance, and I think he went to school with Aaron Rodgers. Let's welcome Dr. Rajpal Brar. How are you doing, Dr. Raj?
Hey, good. What's up, everyone?
Uh,
Hello, Dr. Raj.
before, yeah, I have to
How's it
ask this
going?
question. Did he go to school with Aaron Rodgers or no?
I was a freshman. He was a junior. Marshawn was there, and
Okay.
Marshawn was there the next year. I'm sorry. Deshaun was there as well when I was at Cal.
Okay, that's awesome. There you go. So Dr. Raj, your Arsenal defeated Tottenham this past weekend. That was a
Correct. Great
great
timing.
win.
Great timing.
Yeah, that was a great win. Thoughts on
Mhm.
that game? Let's get it from the fan base of Arsenal.
I mean, honestly, I thought it was, to me, it was pretty much what I had expected. Because if you look at the way that Conte plays, especially recently with this team, I mean, they sit back, they give up a lot of space, and their first halves have been abysmal all season, right? I mean, and so the way that Arsenal play under Arteta is completely, you're controlling the game, controlling space. And so, we did a good job of finishing our chances early on. Of course, Lloris always helps. Putting Lloris under a nice press is always a good way to create chances for yourself. And so Nketiah had that early chance that he missed. And then Lloris fumbles Saka's cross for a goal. And then at that point, we're off to the races. I think it was hard for Tottenham They're starting to midfield too, versus arguably you could say the most informed midfield in the league right now, right? With Partey, Xhaka, and Odegaard. And one of those guys is Sarr, right? He's a 20-year-old in his first, starting, I think might be his first start for Tottenham, doing it in a derby. That's a really, really difficult ask of him. And so I said this a lot of times, but that was the easiest away North London derby I've seen in a long, long time.
Probably.
For us, so.
And I still can't believe Real Madrid let go Martin Odegaard out there. Like, he is amazing. They let him go, and Arsenal got a gift out there. Well, Mills, let's get into this weekend's matchup. The big one, of course, I'm going to talk about it's pretty much Rahul versus Raj, Man United versus Arsenal. We have to start with that game. Any injury updates we need to know for that game, Mills?
Yeah, you said Man United said Man United is actually they have a couple of injuries that and they're going to be missing quite a few people. Some big news: Jadon Sancho, he actually has returned to training, but the manager said he's not going to be rushed back because he did an 8-month individual program in Holland because he wasn't match fit or something. They said it may be a muscular strain, but we don't know. But he's back, but he will not be rushed back. So 9 times out of 10, he won't probably take part in that game. As we know, Danny Van de Beek has been confirmed. He actually did rupture his ACL, so he is 9 times out of 10 out for the season. Jack Butland, he may be there. Said he may feature, he may not. Anthony Martinol, he has a muscular knock, so he's questionable. Diogo Dalot, he is not ready to return. He has that thigh muscular rupture, so he won't be back. Axel Tenzebe, we still don't know what's up to him. It's undisclosed, but he's going to be out for a while.
What about Arsenal?
In Arsenal, they really only have about 3. They only really have about 3. Gabriel.
Yeah.
Said Gabriel
out for a while, but
yeah, he's
outside
out
of
with
that,
the MCL.
are there any other injuries we need to know, Dr. Raj, for Arsenal?
I mean, and then he picked up they didn't disclose it, but he picked up something prior in training, something to his knee. They said it's a knock. We don't know if it was non-contact or not. he's
It
still
was a
being
it was a left knee contusion. Left knee contusion.
Okay.
That's what they're saying.
So it's a knock. He's still being assessed. And so I think he's probably not going to play versus United, I imagine. He was going to play anyways, to be honest. So it doesn't matter. Unless there's an injury mid-game, of course. Emil Smith-Rowe, he had a bounce game last game. Then he played about 5 minutes in the derby. So he's coming back from a long-term layoff. So, I mean, there's really no major injuries right now. Obviously, Gabriel Jesus is out, we know, with a long-term. We think it's an MCL rupture. They haven't really released much information on that either.
Yep.
So, for the most part, pretty healthy. And so, bodes well. I think the big one is not an injury, but Casemiro being out with his yellow cards.
I know that. I was surprised. Like, I was kind of bummed with that. So, Dr. Atanda, what's your take on this game? Who's going to win this game? What's your prediction?
I mean, 1 versus 3. I mean, it's tough. I mean, I got a Man U and an Arsenal fan staring right at me in the face. I'm not a huge fan of either team, but, you know, I'm going to have to lean towards Arsenal on this one. Sorry,
Okay,
Rahul,
come on.
I
They're your London rivals out there. Come on.
They are.
He's a Chelsea fan, Dr.
What,
Raj, if you didn't know.
I am a Chelsea fan. That's just what my gut tells me.
Okay.
I mean, Man U has been in good form as of late, obviously, with what they did in the derby.
Well, I think the decline started
today. They let you down today. And I think that may continue into the weekend. We'll see how Arsenal handles them.
So, Dr. Raj, I presume you're going to pick your team 2-0 on this game?
I mean, I don't make predictions for Arsenal. So I don't.
Look at that. Look at that. So no betting against Arsenal, too?
I stay in the moment with the game. So all I know, Arsenal at home, we've been very, very good.
Yeah.
And so and honestly, Casemiro is a big miss because you'll have Fred off the bench.
Yeah.
It's a much different game in terms of his defensive awareness. And so
I
it'll be
think,
interesting.
I think McTominay wants to probably fill that role out there, and I heard reports that he wants out of United, so maybe this is a proven game for him. So we'll see. At least 6 players contract for United. United players are ending the season, so lot of things to figure out for United fans.
Right quick, Dr. Raj, I believe Reece Nelson will still be out with that thigh injury, right?
Yeah. He had a hamstring injury. He's rehab. That's the one. So he just got back to, I think 2 days ago, he was back on treadmill running. And so I'm saying he's progressing with the hamstring. And so I'm assuming they'll bring him back pretty methodically. He's had a long history of muscular injuries. So
perfect. Let's jump on to the next big one. Liverpool versus Chelsea. So Liverpool playing at home. Mills, what are the main injuries? And let's get to Dr. Atanda for his Chelsea updates.
Do we still consider that a big game these days?
It's 9 versus 10. Well, the big names. That's a good one.
He just squeaked in the top 10, the two, so we can at least have an honorable mention.
Wow, that's
good matchup, though. Interesting matchup.
Yeah. Go ahead, Mills.
Darwin Núñez, actually, he is questionable. So they say he could return from the thigh injury. So look for that. Luis Diaz, he has a knee injury, possibly won't feature. Diogo Jota, the calf strain, he won't out. The big one, Virgil van Dijk, who they're probably still missing in that back line. He will be out with that hamstring. It's actually hamstring tear, so he'll be out for a while. Arthur, thigh injury, and I think another one, Konstantinos Tsimikas, he has lower back spasms, so look for that. And for Minho he's being looked at for a calf injury. And Chelsea, we already know the laundry list of those things, but the main ones, Christian Pulisic actually has a grade 2 MCL. He'll be out. Reece James, knee. Chilwell still out with both those hamstring strains, and it just goes on and on and on.
Chelsea. It looks like everyone's injured.
Everyone's injured.
I think Reece and Chilwell were back in team training today, though. They're back in
team training, though.
Okay. So, Dr. Atanda, what's your take on this game? And it's going to be a tough game. Liverpool coming off a big loss, so might be a comeback game.
9 versus 10, it's kind of a gimme. But as a Chelsea fan, I mean, the laundry list of stars that are injured, I mean, it goes on. Every week we do this show, we add 2 or 3 big player names to this laundry list. I don't see them kind of overtaking Liverpool this weekend. I think it'll be a Liverpool win. And at
Is the
home,
new
it's not.
is the new signing from Ukraine? Is he playing this week?
Mudryk, he's in training.
Yeah,
Mudryk,
he's in training. Okay, so
Yeah.
he might have to wait a couple of weeks. Okay,
Mhm.
well,
And also
Yeah.
another big signing from the mighty French team, Christopher Nkunku, coming this summer. Stay tuned.
Yeah, for Chelsea.
well,
To Chelsea,
well,
yeah.
Yeah.
PSG didn't want to sign him, Mills. Here?
They tried. It said they tried to train. They wanted to sign him, but but he decided to go with Chelsea.
Okay.
He was always
Yeah.
linked to Chelsea, so yeah.
Dr. Raj, if you didn't know, Mills is a supporter of PSG and Man City and pretty much Newcastle now. So any rich club which comes in the market,
on, man.
Mills go.
Gotcha.
Mills
He
goes.
loves oil. I understand.
Yeah, loves oil. There you go. Well, the next big one
It's
is
all
a top 5 matchup, Man City, Tottenham. Dr. Raj, any main updates we need to be aware for this game?
I think the big one is Tottenham. Bentancur's back. Long-term adductor injury. So he's back. I think Kulusevski returned versus Arsenal. He responded well. And so Bentancur's a big upgrade for them in their midfield. And so for City, I'm trying to remember John Stones. He's been having low back issues. He's back. He's in training. Ruben Diaz has been training. Kevin De Bruyne was out for team training yesterday, but it was a personal. He was like, I saw it on Reddit. He was like doing like a visit somewhere, so it wasn't an injury issue. So I can't remember what their other launched any injuries are though.
Mills, did we miss anything out here?
Nope. Pretty much you got everybody. You got everybody for both Man City and stuff like that. Yep, it was Yep, and you're right about Bentancur adductor. So it was a grade 2 adductor strain he was dealing with. He's back, but he is back in training.
I think Man City is going to win this game. They are so angry after losing to United.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I think I don't know.
If
Go
you
ahead,
look, Tottenham Conte's Tottenham gives them trouble because they sit on the counter, right?
That's a good one.
And
Yeah.
so, and they're also coming off, I'll call it an embarrassing NLD loss. So, and so they're going to be motivated as well. Yeah. And so, one of the few times I'm rooting for Tottenham because it's a bigger gap. If let's say we even draw with United and City draw, whatever it is, right? It'll give us more margin. So we'll see. It's a good matchup.
I think, and I think Harry Kane's kind of been pretty mellow the last couple of weeks, which is surprising because he's really good for Tottenham. And before the World Cup, he was involved in their 17 out of their 20 goals, either assist or a goal before leading up to the World Cup. So I think Harry Kane has to come back to form. So maybe it's this game. So
maybe it's this weekend.
I think Kane, I think Son's been even more out of form than Kane is, right? So, but the problem for them is they don't really have a midfield platform right now. So with Bentancur coming back, he helps them a lot in that regard. So we'll see. City's always a different beast. So,
yep. There's the oil team. Newcastle is playing Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace is coming off, I would say, a win against United.
A win for them, yes.
Yes, a win for them. And that free kick was amazing.
Oh
my
God,
God,
it was unbelievable.
Incredible. They did not look. They look really poor since the World coming back. I don't even know what they're trying to do. There's no patterns to the play. Like like the goal they gave up was felt like it was Sunday 7-on-7. It was terrible. So we'll see. I mean, great. I mean, if it takes, honestly, if I'm United, I tip my cap. You hit that free kick. No one's that's an incredible free kick.
No one's saving that. So
no one's touching that. Yep. No goal can get near that one. Nope.
So, Dr. Atanda, thoughts on the Newcastle Crystal Palace game? Crystal Palace again playing at home. So
yeah, they're at home again for the second straight game. We're riding a little bit of a wave from their win today. That may be a bit much to ask for them to beat Newcastle, even if they'll be at home. I think it'll be interesting to see, but I think Newcastle will probably pull out the away win.
Well, they have the big John Joe Shelby. I think he has the biggest nose in Premier League. So
he has been in the league for however many years.
I don't know. Wasn't he playing for Liverpool for a while?
I've only known him playing for Newcastle, to be honest with you.
I think
he did for a little. He did play for Liverpool for a little bit, I believe.
Yeah.
So.
He's been in the league. It's got to be 15 years or something.
He's been there for a while, man.
Sweet. So those are the top matchups we want to discuss. So, Dr. Raj, before we let you go, any final thoughts? Any injuries we need to keep an eye on? or any matchups you like this week outside of the top games we discussed?
No, I'm trying to think of any recent injury. Oh, Newcastle, Bruno Guimaraes, right? Ankle.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
Bruno G. Right. They said they originally thought it might be. I mean, it's hard. Obviously, it's hard to tell on video with inversion sprains because there's so much laxity there, and we don't know how much laxity each player has. And so he left on. He kept playing firstly, and then he left on a boot on crutches, which seemed like it was precautionary. But they think sounds like it's a grade one sprain. So it sounds like they're saying weeks, if not a week. So sounds like Newcastle are quite fortunate here. And so Eddie Howe was even like, I should have not played him. I mean, it's always easy to say afterwards, right? So,
yeah,
that's the only one that comes to the top of my head.
Awesome. Again, thanks a lot for taking time and joining us, Dr. Raj. And we hope to see you in a couple of shows in the coming weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys.
Awesome. Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, nice to meet you, man.
Cool.
Well, that was Dr. Raj. You can follow him at 3CB Performance. I'll put a link on our description as well. So Dr. Atanda, so looking at the betting lines, Liverpool are favored against Chelsea, straight up. Newcastle favored against Crystal Palace. Man City favored, of course. Arsenal favored. Looks like, do you think there's going to be an upset? I don't think every favorite can win this week, right? There has to be some upset.
I mean, you got to play the odds. I mean, eventually somebody's going to be upset. I mean, looking at the schedule, I mean, if I had to pick one, you said Arsenal's favored, obviously. I don't know if I want. I mean, I may be going back on my word. I did say Crystal Palace may let us down after they kind of lifted us up today, but the only one that I can see potentially could be that. I mean, I don't want to seem like I'm waffling. Maybe riding that high a little bit from the Man U draw today. Other than that, I think, all the favorites are probably likely to win for me.
Mills, any upsets for you this week?
Nope. I don't see it. Liverpool will cover. Newcastle will cover. Of course, Man City is going to cover. We know that.
Yeah. Sure.
You know what? He said, you know what? I'm going to say, I'm going to take you at your word, man. You think, you know what? Man U is going to upset Arsenal. Let's go with that. Man U upsets Arsenal.
I don't see that happening, especially after the free kick. I think that was kind of devastating. I think everyone are kind of like bummed out after that kick.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. I think one team I'd really like coming into this week is Brentford. They're on a roll. I think they're going to beat Leeds United this week. So I like that matchup a lot for Brentford. Of course, Man City has Tottenham tomorrow, Thursday, and they play Wolves on Sunday. So they're going to bring in all guns blazing. So I think Man City is going to be good as well. Well, we'll see. Again, any final thoughts, Dr. Atanda?
No, I mean, I'm going to stick by my Crystal Palace potential upset over Newcastle.
Okay.
I think everything else will be status quo, and we'll see how the weekend unfolds.
Okay, awesome. Again, thank you for joining us, everyone. Subscribe to the channel, comment. Let us know what we can do better for the show. Of course, we'll try to bring in more guests. And if you want more betting or whatever, any suggestions or topics you want to discuss, we're happy to discuss. And starting next week, we'll try to have a medical segment. Dr. Atanda, you cool with that?
Yeah, no problem.
Yep, let's discuss, like, it doesn't have to be a player injury, but let's pick up one injury and kind of get your perspective on it and how a rehab looks and things like that. So it can be educational for our fans as well.